In this tutorial, we will add images that match the text. Those images will be animated with some timing involved and build order. Let's get to it. Now, before you start, it would be worthwhile typing in what you want to say. You can leave this on here as well. And what I've done here is put in the explanation of the transfer from chemical energy into mechanical energy. And then what I did was I typed it in, and then I timed myself how long it took pretty much to say this first sentence, because that's going to be the length, more or less, of my animation. So literally when I'm speaking, the animation will appear in time with those keywords. So let's give it a go. Right. I added the circle earlier, and I also added some animation. So I'll take that off for you just to show you how you would do it. So I'll just go up to animate here, change, and then none. Now, it will play for 2 seconds, which would match how long it takes to say at the bottom of the push-up, my brain sends. It's about 2 seconds. So bear that in mind. So select your shape, animate, build in, add effect. Let's keep it simple. Go down to trace, and the default is 2 seconds, so we can leave it. That's it. Do a quick preview, see if you're happy with it, which I am. And then go down to build order, and I want this to play at the same time as this animation for my text. Select oval, go to start, select width. So it just plays these two at the same time, and then just preview to double check or to test it. So I'm happy with that, and then we can move on to the next part, which is to add lines to show the transfer of energy from chemical to mechanical for the triceps. What I'm going to do, is put in a line for my triceps, because that's the next part, or the last part of the sentence, triceps. Okay, so I'm just going to go along there where the tricep is, and then I'm just going to add an effect to that. I'm going to go for line draw. That gives you a preview, so that's the correct direction. So I'm not happy with the color there, so I'll change that as well. Increase the weight so it just stands out. Now that also takes about 2 seconds, but it does appear after this circle. So I'm going to go to animate. Okay, 2 seconds, that's good. And then I want to go to build order, because I want it to play automatically after the circle. Now you can see before I've already animated the circle or oval tool and the text at the bottom. Now for this line, remember I want it to play after the second build, the second animation. So all you do is you just put after with a 0 second delay, and then you can do a preview. Okay, and then you can adjust your timings if you need to. Almost there, just one more bit to go for the animation, that is. So I'm going to add another one in, but what you could do, rather than draw it, just copy and paste that, bring it over here, and then go to the end of the drawing, just flip it over, okay, and because you've copied and pasted it, it keeps all the same properties, so that makes it a little bit easier. All we need to do is just change the build order, and to make sure that this plays at the same time as number 2, because we want these 2 lines to appear or to animate at the same time and just after this little guy here. So I'm just going to put width, and then just finally just do a quick test, make sure it all works as you have anticipated and planned. That's perfect. Nearly there. One last step. What we need to do now is change the transition. Right? So to do that, just click off the animation, click onto the slide, and the transition should appear. I've already preset this, but I timed myself how long it took to say all of this. You'll see why in the iMovie tutorial. It's really important, because we don't want this to disappear until you have had time to say it and other people have had time to read it. So I've worked it out to be about 15 seconds, but added a couple on just to be sure. So I went to, remember, click there, this will appear, and all you do is just go to, I've selected Add Effect. I've actually just left it at none, but you can add something in there if you want, which means what happens when it disappears or the slide moves on, and then select automatically and then select your time. Of course you can test it, but we can do that later. So what I'm going to do now, final step, is just to export it. So it's File, Export, and then QuickTime. You may have Movie here instead of QuickTime because I'm using an older version of Keynote. Click QuickTime, get rid of these two, just put in 0. And then for format, if you put 1080p, this will work better whenever it's displayed in your video. And click Next. So what the Keynote will do, it'll ask you to give it a file name. So I'm going to call mine Science, push up version 1, so 1. Export it to the desktop. You can see I just replaced one that I made earlier. So it creates the movie now. And then what we can do with that movie is we're going to go to iMovie. So I've already set this from earlier. Just minimize that a little bit. So it's just got that video here waiting to go in. So I'm just going to drag it over, put it in there. And you can see it's just added a little bit on 21 seconds, but we can shave that off later on in the next tutorial. And thanks for watching this tutorial on how to add animations with build orders, build sequence and timings using Keynote, and how to export it so that it will be exported as a movie file type. Thanks for watching.